Well, first of all, I'm really proud of my team, and I'm really happy for them. I thought we were incredibly tough tonight against a really good basketball team. Louisville has played as tough a schedule maybe as anyone in the country so far this year, and they've beaten those, some of those teams. And for us to play as hard as we did, as tough as we did, especially mentally, and some big-time performances by just about everyone that stepped on the court for us tonight. Really proud of them, really happy for them. These guys are fighting, and one of the things that they are learning how to do is you're learning that in order to win, you have to invest more. Everyone has to invest more, and everyone associated with our program has to be in it. Like this is not just a job, or you can't just be happy to be here. You have to invest. It has to be a passion. And I thought tonight for us to win, after talking about that for the past couple of days, it was a little bit of poetic justice for us. So again, really proud of them. I thought Audice Tony's defense on Nwora all game was big time, and we wanted to have an awareness for him. He's as improved as any guy in this league, and we did an amazing job on him, tonight. I thought McGowan's was incredible, especially in the first half and the start of the second, and then he picked the spots from there. I thought Xavier had a really good second half and overtime. And then Terrell Brown was incredible. He went through a stretch there, probably like 4 or 5 minute stretch where he was catching and dunking. He was going through contact. He wanted the ball. We hit him. He was making decisive moves. He was blocking shots. So, again, a big-time performance. I thought Cam Davis's defense in the first half, coming in, knocking in a corner three. Jared being the voice for us out there and, keeping us grounded, keeping us calm a little bit. Kenna's ball screen and roll there late in the second half, and his catch and finish was big time. So, again, a lot of great things for us, and I'm really proud of my team and happy for them.
Jeff, does it mean anything more to you to get your first ACC win?
No, it doesn't. For me, I had my time as a player. I've actually coached some games in this league as an associate head coach. I coached 9. I'm just happy that Pitt, our students, our crowd was amazing again tonight, and for them to experience an ACC win again when it's been so long. I think it's 672 days. And, for this program, the fans, the people that support it, that love it, our Oakland Zoo, especially the sophomores, who haven't experienced the win in the ACC, and our players mainly, I'm happy for them. And it's a great lesson for our guys. And, again, I think it's ironic what we've been talking about the past 2 days of investing more time, studying, understanding tendencies, sleep, rest, hydration, eating, all these things, extra work, taking care of your body, showing up to get treated. All these things, in order to win in this league, you have to do those things. And that's what the really good teams and the really good programs do. And we're trying to become that again. And so we have to understand, we have to learn that. We have to teach them that. And it's great that, we have some willing listeners.
Did you feel like you had an advantage and get by them with some dribble penetration?
Well, we feel like that is an advantage for us. That's a strength of ours. And so, we're going to try to do some ball screen things and try to get some movement. I feel like Xavier and Trey have the ability to beat people off the bounce. And it puts a lot of pressure at times on the defense of what they want to do as far as their ball screen coverage. And I thought we made some good reads. I thought Trey was very aggressive in the first half out of it. They switched their ball screen coverage. They were switching in the first half, and we were able to take advantage of the switch. And we were able to make some shots. We were able to make some threes. And Trey was dynamic off of it. In the second half, they switched. They started blacking, which is a hard hedge. And, at that moment when that happened, we switched. What we did, we just put X in it then. We put Xavier in it. He's a little bit better at that. When they start doing that, he can make reads out of it a little bit better, and he took advantage of that. And so, again, with those two guys, we think we have a chance, and then what that does, hopefully, is it gets people playing in closeouts. And then that's where Malik can drive. That's where Jarrett can drive, or Cameron, or Audice, those guys that are on the perimeter. And then we've tried to work with our big guys on rolling hard, putting pressure on the rim, catching, finishing, and doing that. And we were able to do that tonight.
There were several times, they would make a surge, and instead of calling timeout, you would sort of make them play through it. Even at the end of regulation, instead of calling timeout, you ran your stuff. Are you trying to get them to learn? Maybe saying, guys, go out there and just kind of learn it yourself.
No, it's just a feel of the game. We knew they would make runs. I was proud because we responded every time. They cut it to 5. We got it back to 10. Then they went on a run there at the end. And, I second-guessed myself at the end of regulation. I knew if I called timeout, I knew they were going to go to the 1-3-1. And I didn't trust us in that moment to handle it right. And that's why I didn't call timeout in that situation. In hindsight, I wish I would have. So we could have we didn't even get a shot off. Trey should have shot it, but instead he tried to put it on the floor and drive it. But again, they threw punches, and we responded. For us to get to overtime after having a 10-point lead late, during the period between the overtime when we were in the huddle, our guys were, dejected. You could see that. And I jumped on them right away, like, we're going to win. It's 5 more minutes. We have to fight for 5 more minutes, and we have this. And for them to come out right away and hit a 3, that was another gut punch. And we got up off the canvas and we fought back. And to come right back and to get a 3, and to get a stop, and to get another bucket, and to take the lead, and to not relinquish it, again, that was big of us. Again, we have to make free throws. We've been a really good free throw shooting team all year. Tonight was weird. And so, we'll do a better job there. But we showed a lot of growth. More importantly, we showed a lot of toughness tonight in beating a really good team.
Jeff, Trey left early. Were you concerned that injury might linger, and was he playing through something at all?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. I know every time we went to go sub him back in, he was on the bike, so it took him a little bit to get back. Obviously, there was a lot of adrenaline, and he was able to play through it, obviously, and play really well. We'll evaluate him and see what the injury is and see what his status is going forward.
You played a lot more zone than you normally do. How effective do you think it was?
It was somewhat effective. A lot of that had to do with foul trouble. We were in a lot of foul trouble. We don't have a lot of depth as it is, but we were in a lot of foul trouble, and we were trying to steal some minutes there so we could keep guys on the court. I don't know how effective. They shot 68% in the second half, so I don't know, and they scored 51 points. In the first half, we played a lot of man, and they were 31%. So I think our man was a little bit better, but that's something that we had to do, and we got the stops at the end when we needed it.
With the early foul trouble, Jeff, and with the injury we had talked about earlier, you had kept Trey in. What does that sort of say about your belief in him? And I guess what sort of prompted you in that direction to sort of leave a young player in there in sort of a vulnerable moment?
Well, I'm not one of these coaches that believes if a guy picks up 2.5 first half that you sit him for the rest of the half. We try to work on different situations in practice, and I trust my guys in that situation to not do it. Now, it worked with Trey. It did not work with Xavier. He picked up his 3rd foul in the first half. But at that moment, Trey was playing so well. He was in a good rhythm. I trusted him in that situation to not pick up a 3rd.
After the game on Saturday about, even though you all had just lost by 25, that this wasn't, sort of a case of same old Pitt. How much does a win like this, especially being a team that this program obviously is before your time here, hadn't beaten since 2010, how much does a game like this sort of illustrate?
Beating Louisville since 2010?
Since 2010, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
How much does a win like this sort of illustrate that point?
Well, tonight was huge for us. I'd be lying if I tried to play it down like it was. It was huge for us. It was huge for this program at this moment. And look, we played a really, really good team on Saturday. I mean, North Carolina is one of the best teams in the country. Coach Williams told me right after the game it's maybe as well as they've played all year. And we had to move on to the next play. We had to learn from it, understand the mistakes. More importantly, that's where we started talking about the investment. And as we watched film feedback from that game, we talked about the mistakes that we made. And here are the things that we can control, and we have to control these things at a high level. I've talked to these guys since I took this job and we got together as a group. We're not going to be the most talented team. We're not. I mean, that's the reality. But that doesn't mean we can't be the better team. We have to do the little things really well, and we have to appreciate the little things. And for us not to turn it over as much, and to turn them over 18 times today. We found the play, something that was working in the first half. We kept going to it. So tonight was huge for us, and to show some growth after being excited on Saturday and to lose like that, to come back and to want to continue to fight. I mean, that was big for us, and it's something we have to do. Now we have to learn from this situation. We've had a little bit of success. Saturday at noon is going to come quick, and we're playing against another really good team that's coming off of a loss. Just like we did on Saturday, we have to move to the next play. At midnight tonight, we have to move to the next play, and we have to start our preparation for NC State. But we are going to enjoy this for the time being.
Bro, what have you noticed different about the past few games? You had a career high in rebounding just a couple weeks ago, and now you have a huge game tonight, a big one.
Energy, practice. In practice, the last probably a week and a half, I kind of just approached it in a different mindset than I normally do. And being down bigs, me and Ken have to pick up our play. So that's always weighing on my head every time I step into the gym.
Terrell, your coach said at the end of regulation, he used the word dejected. Do you remember what he said to you guys after regulation and before overtime to kind of get you pumped up?
He saw our faces, and he saw that look in us, and he was like, we didn't know what was going to happen. And he told us just to keep a strong face and just be confident pretty much, and that's what we did. And we just said, we're going to win this game. We ain't fight for a whole 40 minutes just to come up short. So now, he said before, there's 10 rounds to a fight, so this is the 11th round. We went past. So what are we going to do? We're going to roll over and just give up, or are we going to fight? And we wanted that win, so we fought for it.
Do you think a performance like this can help the rest of the season with confidence and being able to close out teams?
For sure. Individually and as a team, yes. Because, people doubted us, and we was able to get a win in the ACC, which no one thinks. But all that matters is the coaches and us. And that's all we need, so.
Someone that was here last year, what was just the feeling like kind of when the clock went to zeros there and you got that victory?
It was a lot of excitement for me, but then I realized, this is only one game, and we have a game Saturday night against NC State at NC State, which is always hard for a real game. So the returners know this. And I just kind of I'm going to enjoy it now, but when I go to sleep and when I wake up, I'm going to forget about it and move on to NC State because, we can easily any team can get blown out. So we can't just live in the moment.
Again, as someone who went through it last year, do you think other teams in this league are maybe overlooking you guys after the way your season played out a year ago?
Oh, for sure. We expect them to because it makes it more better and enjoyable when we actually do beat them. And like I said, all we need is the guys in the locker room and the coaches.
Jeff said after the game that you guys are investing more. What does that mean? And do you notice guys doing that?
Yeah, investing more, even just overall film, guys watching film on themselves, how they play defense, the things they're doing wrong to correct it, just meeting with the coaches so they can learn about their game and what they need to work on. So overall, that would help the team. And me personally, I've talked to O'Toole many times about my defense and how in the defense I need to be an anchor for this team and I need to block shots. And that's something I'm good at, and I have a habit when it comes to that. So we talked about it a lot. Then he said my offense will feed off my defense, and that's kind of what I felt like happened today. I missed a bunch of shots, a couple of shots, 3 shots actually, in the first half. In the second half, I just picked it up because I felt like it was my defense that I fed off of.
You had it going pretty good there in the second half.
Yeah.
Several times. How did you feel in that moment?
I felt good, but then I was like, I mean, it's good that it's happening, but at the same time, I need to like control myself on defense. I was getting fouls. I was being late to the recover for the big 3-quarter in the post, and I would get caught late. I had to give up a foul. I didn't want to give up an easy layup, so it's, I still had to like balance it out. I can't be good on offense and be bad on defense. I need to be good on both.
You had talked about that dejected feeling at the end of regulation, Terrell. I mean, given the fact that you guys were able to come back from that and win, how much do you feel like y'all will be able to look back on that moment 2 or 3 months from now when the season's over and you guys do however you do, and kind of look at that moment and say we really grew up then, like that was a big turning point for us?
I feel like we definitely gonna look back at it because we don't plan on this being the only victory we get this season. We plan on a game anymore, and just seeing that one turning point in our season for the most part, because that's what this is, a turning point. It's the first win. Like you said, last year we had a rough year, so we got the first win in our second game, so now we're 1-1. And it opens the door for everything else. And the confidence for the freshmen especially, they played phenomenal. And just them guys, seeing that, then the returners, and it's just overall, it's going to be a good feeling looking back at it.
Did that surprise you to see Trey and Xavier do what they were able to do?
No, not one bit. I was telling Trey to go for 40. But, I mean, I was like, you make your free throws, you was at 38, 39, you could easily get 40. I mean, it's not that hard. In practice, they go at it, and they can easily score. So I wasn't surprised when I looked up and I saw 30-something, 20. Like, I wasn't surprised at all. I expect that from them.
Terrell, I was going to ask you about, you didn't start a long stretch of games there. What was it like to get the start in this one and to play as well as you did in the second half?
Nothing. I just approached it the same way that I've been approaching it the last 2 weeks. I got the opportunity, so I just got to go out and keep doing what I've been doing in practice and in games.
You as a defensive guy, defensive rebounding. Tonight you did some work on the glass. Yeah. Offensively.
Offensively, I just I fed off my defense. I knew I had at least 4 blocks, so I was just like, I got the ball and I just went. That was it.
Xavier, Coach talked about how y'all were a little dejected at the end of regulation after Louisville tied. They come down, they hit a 3 the first possession of overtime. What was going through your mind when you bring the ball back up the court, knowing that sort of momentum that kind of was in your favor at that moment?
You just relaxed. I mean, I just knew that something was going to happen, and I just shot the ball. I just went through the hoop.
Trey, you really started to get hot towards the end of the first half when Xavier had to go out, and you took on a kind of a point guard role there. How did that feel for you?
It felt great. My teammates believed in me. Coach K believed in me. Running the one while X was out, and that's pretty much it, just confidence.
For both you guys, the way this game ended, how much confidence, I think, does this give you down the stretch, finishing in a game when it was pretty close there at the end?
I mean, that just tells us that like we're a good team and we never stop playing. We always fight. Don't matter whether it's 45 minutes or 40 minutes.
What was the injury trade that you were dealing with there? It looked like something with your left knee. I saw you working it out on the bike.
My knees just collided with them. Went out in the hall and just worked on it. Like, just really keeping it warm so it didn't stiffen up.
Were you having to spend much of the rest of the game fighting through pain, or was it something that kind of wore off as time passed?
I mean, my adrenaline, I was running off adrenaline, so I'll probably feel it in the morning.
Trey, Jeff talked about investing more for you guys. What does that mean for you? I mean, Terrell just talked about how he's talking to guys more about defense. How are you guys investing more in this program?
Working out more, focusing more, just anything to help the team and help like individually, whether working individually to help the team or just whatever, chemistry, stuff like that.
So you guys didn't shoot that well from 3 against Carolina. You come down, I think it was about 5 minutes into the game, hit the 3 from the top of the key after you guys had missed some open ones. How much do you feel like that gave you some confidence, and then hitting those early threes also let you get to the rim as the game went on?
It gave me a lot of confidence. Just really, we like you said, we didn't shoot it well UNC game, so I guess we had a real good shoot around though. So really, we were just telling each other we're finna shoot it real well. So we had a real good shoot around, and then it just carried over.
Xavier, you guys were coming off a big loss Saturday. You were still the program that hadn't won an ACC game since 2 seasons ago. Did you think Louisville maybe did you surprise those guys a little bit tonight, you think?
No, not really. I think the coach knew that we were a different team, and their team knew we were different, and they came out with the mindset like these are different guys you playing.
Did you guys see anything on film that gave you an idea that they would struggle guarding drives, particularly, especially from guards?
No, not really. This is something we take advantage of every game.
Yeah.
How do you guys stay grounded now for the next game?
We're going to prepare the same way. It's this one win. It means something to us, but at the same time, it's just one win at the end of the day. So we got to come back, prepare the same way, and try to get another dub.
You came in averaging, I think, 19 in your last 3 games, but then tonight you go way beyond that even. Are you just looking to score more lately, or is it something that's clicked for you recently?
Really just coaches, teammates just telling me to attack. So that's just confidence and working the gym, whether it's with Coach Milan or it's just on my own. But I like to shout out Coach Milan before and after practice, just working on increasing my bag.
You all committed to Pitt within, I think, 5 days of each other. I mean, did you all envision anything close to this, within, I guess, 8 months of doing so?
Yeah, we talked about it from the jump. And then as soon as we got here, we were just working. We didn't Jared and all the other teammates who experienced it last year, they were just telling us how they didn't want to experience it again, and they didn't want anybody else to experience it. So, we knew what we felt like we knew. We were just going to come in, work, and really, when we came in, we was like, the season's over. We're here. We're just going to work, and that's not going to happen again.
Talked about Jared there, and sort of him not wanting you guys to experience what they did last year. I mean, how much of a difference did you see in your teammates who were here last year? Jared, Terrell, Kenna, guys like that, in the locker room after the game, compared to maybe what you've seen from them at other times this year? Because that's a group that hadn't had an ACC win until now.
I can't speak on what they did last year.
I just know they were pretty excited after the game today. They just kept saying during the game, they were just saying finish, because they talked about how they had been in a situation a lot like that last year where they were up, and then they would come back and something would happen. So they had to come and finish the game.
Obviously, you guys believe in yourself a lot, but you get the St. Louis win, and then you're so close to Iowa, and now this one. Do you feel like as the season progresses, that belief in this team and what they can do is growing even more?
Yes.
You guys both ended up playing 37 minutes. Trey, you were banged up. How much did you feed off the energy of the crowd, and particularly the zoo, especially down the stretch?
It was rocking. I know we could hear him, so I know Louisville could hear him, and that's big. It's like, I don't know. I went like, it's pretty big, especially if you're away, having a crowd against you. I guess it's like, I don't know, it's just different. And then Oakland Zoo, they came out and supported, and it got loud.